The stars were gone. From the viewport of Station Ria's command deck, the sky looked like a wound stitched shut with black steel. HFY warships filled low orbit, miles-long crescents of metal, their hulls bristling with cannons and eerie violet propulsion scars. Their formation was tight, precise, cold. They weren't waiting for a fight. They were waiting for Earth to surrender. Commander Arya Nix stood rigid, arms crossed behind her back, watching the inevitable inch closer. She wore her black Terran command uniform like armor, though the insignia on her chest, a silver spiral, meant less with every passing hour. "Status?" she asked. Lieutenant Rami flicked through his hollow console. "Final evacuation wave is halfway to atmosphere. We've lost contact with 3 civilian transports near L4. Arya didn't flinch. HFY? Unconfirmed. Could be jamming. Could be destroyed. Say it. Rami hesitated. Yes, ma'am. Likely destroyed. She turned back to the viewport. A planet spun below her, blue-green cloud-streaked. Earth. It looked peaceful. It wasn't. Patch me into the surface, she said. Global broadcast. Rami gave a curt nod. You're live. Arya's voice cut through every speaker from orbital towers to underground shelters. This is Commander Arya Nix. To the people of Earth, we have not surrendered. We will not. Evacuation continues. All remaining defense platforms are now under unified command. Do not lose hope. Rhea stands. She ended transmission and turned, her composure brittle. Rami cleared his throat. Ma'am, another message from the HFY. Let's hear our executioner's latest poetry. The lights dimmed as the hollow formed midair, 8 feet tall, framed in crimson. A face resolved, scaled, symmetrical, framed by barbed silver armor. Eyes like molten amber burned through the projection. Overlord Vyrek. People of Earth. He spoke, voice heavy with layered resonance. Your resistance is mathematically irrelevant. Your species' probability of survival is 0.013%. Your refusal delays only suffering. Arya raised an eyebrow. Such motivational speaking. You have 1 Terran hour, Vyrek continued. Surrender and your cities will remain intact. Defy us, and your oceans will boil. The transmission ended. Silence. Then, cheery fellow, Rami muttered. Arya paced to the center of the bridge. Signal the fleet. I want full status from all defense nodes. And find out what happened to the L4 transports. Yes, Commander. She descended to the lower tier of the command deck. A small screen flickered to life on her wristband, a video message queued from earlier that day. Her brother. Leon's face filled the screen, young, bright-eyed, a medtech in a refugee zone in what remained of Northern Europe. He smiled, tired but trying. Still no contact from you, sis. We've been moving people nonstop, lots of scared kids. Some think we're already dead up there. But I keep telling them, my sister's still fighting. That means Earth's still fighting. Arya let the screen fade. Her jaw tightened. They couldn't hold Rhea, not for long. The orbital cannon arrays were down to 63% power. The Gauss turrets were overheating faster than they could cycle. And the HFY, they hadn't even used their main batteries. This wasn't a war. It was a warning. Commander, one of the tacticians called out. We're detecting mass warp activity. Outer system boundary. Arya snapped to attention. HFY reinforcements? Unclear. It's SOD. Signal architecture is Terran. Everyone froze. That's impossible, Rami said. No authorized Terran fleet has that kind of drive signature. It's not Concord spec. Arya narrowed her eyes. Put it on screen. A hollow map bloomed to life. Pinpricks of red, enemy positions, surrounded Earth. Then, like ink blooming in water, shadows began to appear. Dark, angular shapes. Ship silhouettes, dozens. No call signs. No beacons. Then they fired. Bolts of magnetized plasma screamed through the void, tearing through the rear line of the Axterii blockade. One dreadnought cracked open like a dropped egg. Another spiraled into Earth's atmosphere, burning bright as it disintegrated. "Who the hell?" Rami breathed. "Multiple unknown contacts," the tactician confirmed. "Terran heat signatures. Weapon systems match lost pre-Concord designs. Hull IDs scrambled." A calm burst crackled through the deck's speakers. "This is Revenant of the Black Fleet," the voice said. Female. Low, clipped, unmistakably human. "We answer no flag. But today, we answer blood. Let no Empire vessel survive orbit." The line went dead. Arya blinked. "Revenant? Commander, are they real?" Rami whispered. "The Black Fleet?" Ghost stories, Arya thought. Mutineers. Criminals. They disappeared after the Mars incident over 20 years ago, hunted down, or so history claimed. No survivors. No evidence. Until now. "Status of the unknowns?" she barked. "Still engaging Axterii targets," the tactician replied. "Minimal contact with our satellites. Targeting clean. Efficient. Lethal." Another transmission. Not public this time. Directed. Personal. "Commander Arya Nix. This is Revenant. You will board the Oblivion. We have unfinished business." The calm channel dropped. Arya's blood ran cold. Revenant. The name pulsed in her memory like a buried scar. She looked back to the stars, no, to where the stars should be. Now, amid the Black Fleet and broken metal, Earth had a sliver of sky again. "Prep a shuttle," she ordered. "I'm going." Rami looked alarmed. "Commander, that's not a request." She turned to him. Her eyes were hard. Focused. Alive in a way they hadn't been for months. "If ghosts have come to save us," she said, "then I need to know why." The shuttle shivered as it left the magnetic arms of Station Rhea. Beyond the viewpane, Earth's curve gleamed below like a half-lit jewel, while the chaos of orbital battle spread in slow, deadly arcs. Trails of fire, explosions caught in vacuum silence, broken Axterii hulls spinning weightlessly. Commander Arya Nix gripped the side rail, jaw clenched, eyes locked on the monstrous silhouette ahead. The Oblivion. It didn't look like any Terran ship she'd ever seen. It was longer than a carrier, but sharper, more angular. The hull was blackened to absorb all light, no insignias or blinking NAV lights, just matte void, like something carved from the edge of a singularity. Its design was aggressive, primal, and efficient. A predator with no allegiance. The pilot, a young corporal, cast a glance over his shoulder. "Ma'am, are you sure about this?" "No," she said flatly. "Dock us anyway." The shuttle locked onto one of Oblivion's lower airlocks. The transition was smooth, practiced. This ship wasn't just functional, it was advanced. Despite its outlaw mythos, it moved like a creature of precision. The inner hatch opened. Arya stepped out alone. A woman waited in the corridor, tall, severe, armored in dark steel. Her face was human. Mostly. Her left eye was an artificial orb of burnished gold. Her arms were reinforced with something beneath the skin, muscle enhancement mesh, likely. She held herself like someone who'd killed in 0G and remembered every name. "Revenant," Arya said. The woman smiled coldly. "It's been a long time, Arya." The voice hit like a punch to the chest. A buried memory uncoiled in Arya's mind. That voice had once said her name with warmth. With laughter. With love. "You're dead," Arya whispered. Revenant stepped closer. "They said I was. But death, it seems, is negotiable." It was her. Rhea Nix. Her mother. Presumed executed in the Mars Purge 24 years ago. "I saw the footage," Arya said. "You were vaporized. No body, no proof. The Concord made sure no questions survived." Rhea tilted her head. "But you did. That's why I came back." Arya stared at her. "You abandoned everything. You turned your guns on your own fleet. I warned them Mars was compromised. They refused to act. I didn't start that war. I ended it before the Axterii could use the colony as a launch point. You executed diplomats. I executed collaborators. The hallway thickened with silence. Aria's hands tightened into fists. What is the Black Fleet? She asked. Ria's expression turned grim. A sanctuary. A weapon. A lesson. We took the exiled, the disavowed, the forgotten, and rebuilt them into something the Empire fears. We've hunted in the shadows. Now we step into the light. You think that gives you the right to return like this? You think we'll just trust you? No. But I didn't come for trust. I came for Earth. Ria turned, walking briskly down the corridor. Come. You need to see it. They passed through the heart of the oblivion. The ship pulsed with quiet life. Crews moved like ghosts, silent and fast. Most were human. Some weren't. Arya saw a few with modified limbs, neural ports along the spine, even one with eyes that glowed blue and blinked in a non-human pattern. These people volunteered, Ria said. After the Concord abandoned them. After Earth turned them away. They chose this life. And what, exactly, is this life? Arya asked, eyes scanning the modifications. A life where we don't wait to die politely. They entered the bridge, a dome of glass steel overlooking the carnage outside. Black Fleet ships moved like wolves through the debris. Axterii cruisers were burning, spiraling down. We've waited 2 decades for this moment, Ria said. Axterii dominance is mathematical, yes. Predictable. Structured. But what they don't understand, what they can't predict, is us. Arya watched a Black Fleet frigate punch clean through an Axterii battleship's spine. You're not a fleet, she said. You're a scalpel. We're justice. Arya turned. You've become the very thing the Concord feared. Ria didn't flinch. The Concord was afraid of responsibility. Afraid of doing what was necessary. And now, Earth burns for their cowardice. A red light blinked across the bridge. New contact, one officer said. Virek's second carrier just entered the lower thermosphere. Preparing to strike coastal evacuation sites. Aria's stomach sank. Leon. Give me a direct link to Station Ria, she said. Ria stepped in. Let us handle it. No. We have protocols. There's no time. Arya hesitated, then nodded. Save them. Ria snapped her fingers. Vector Squadron, divert. Prioritize evac ships. No mercy. A window opened on the display. Black Fleet fighters launched like vipers, sleek, silent, fast. Within seconds, the Axterii carrier was lit up like a festival bonfire. 1, 2, 3 reactor ruptures. A second later, its bulk split open and tumbled into the Pacific. A cheer rose from the bridge crew. Arya didn't celebrate. Her calm buzzed. Leon Nix safe. Ship damaged, but alive. She exhaled. A long, quiet breath. Ria watched her. You didn't come for war. You came for hope. I came because Earth doesn't get another tomorrow. Ria nodded slowly. Then let's make sure this one counts. Arya turned back to the viewport. The sky was still dark. But parts of it, tiny, silver-slashed fragments, shone through again. Ghosts had come. And with them, a war unlike anything the Empire expected. Arya Nix didn't speak as Ria led her deeper into the oblivion. The corridor darkened, the lighting softening into a low amber glow. The hum of the ship's core surrounded them, steady as a heartbeat. She couldn't stop noticing how smooth everything was, no rust, no disrepair, no wasted motion. This wasn't some outlaw wreck. This was a machine built for one thing, war. Where are we going? Arya asked, finally breaking the silence. To show you the truth, Ria answered. Not what Concord taught you. Not what Earth remembered. They stopped outside a chamber sealed by a genetic lock. Ria pressed her palm to the panel. It hissed, scanned, opened. Inside, the space was circular. Holoscreens covered the walls, displaying recorded feeds, ships, planets, battles. maps of long-forgotten territories. Names of colonies marked as lost in Terran databases. At the center, a large projection hovered Mars, 2259, frozen mid-frame. Your birthright, Rhea said, stepping in. Or at least, what they erased from your records. Arya stared at the projection. She remembered Mars as dust and fire. She'd been 10 when the war erupted. Her mother had been stationed on the Red Colony as part of Terran Command. Then came the Purge. No one had ever explained what it was beyond a containment failure. Rhea rotated the projection. Mars shimmered, then displayed a heat map, energy signatures, non-human. Alien relay nodes embedded deep beneath the terraformed crust. They were here before we landed, Rhea said. Axterii probes. Dormant. Watching. Feeding our network's false data for decades. Arya frowned. No one reported that. We did. Terran Command ignored it. Said the risk of destabilizing peace with the Concord outweighed the possibility of a threat. I disagreed. You launched a strike, Arya said coldly. On your own. We had to wipe the relay network before it activated. I gave them the data. They buried it. So I buried the outposts. That wasn't yours to decide. If I hadn't, the Axterii would have activated those relays and taken Mars before Earth even blinked. Arya stepped closer to the projection. The heat map flickered, rewound, replayed. She saw troop movements. She saw retreat orders cancelled. She saw names, her mother's included, scrubbed from military records days before the Purge was officially declared. You were marked before you disobeyed, Arya said. Rhea nodded. They wanted someone to blame if it all went wrong. We were already dead before I pulled the trigger. Arya's voice was low. And you left me. Rhea flinched. Just barely. I had to disappear. You would have been targeted next. I was 10. I waited for you to come back. Every night. Rhea's eyes dropped. For once, she had no defense. We're not done paying for it, she said softly. That's why I came back. A silence stretched between them. Not empty. Heavy. You could have called, Arya said. You could have tried. I did. Twice. They never reached you. After that, I stopped trying and started building. Arya turned from the projection. So what is this now? Redemption? Revenge? Neither. The Axterii are here because we let them study us. Diplomacy gave them our blueprints. We trained them to beat us. Earth will not survive without teeth. And the Black Fleet, we're all that's left with bite. Arya crossed her arms. You want me to vouch for you. I want you to understand what's coming. Virek's not just here to conquer. He's here to cleanse. The Axterii have done it before. They believe domination isn't complete until the native species is erased, physically or genetically. You've seen this? I stopped it once. At cost. I won't let it happen again. The holoscreens shifted, displaying intercepted Axterii transmissions. Plans. Conversion centers. Genetic manipulation units deployed in orbit, targeting Terran embryos for reprogramming. Arya's stomach twisted. They're going to rewrite us. Rhea stepped closer. Unless we erase them first. There it was. The real ask? Not defense. Preemption. Total war. I'm not sanctioning genocide, Arya said. Rhea didn't blink. Then Earth will fall noble. You think fear makes us strong? I think survival makes us possible. The conversation ended not with anger but understanding. Bitter, raw, imperfect. I have to go back, Arya said. I expected that, Rhea replied. I've already sent you a shuttle. As Arya turned to leave, Rhea's voice followed her. I don't expect you to forgive me. But if you're going to lead Earth's last stand, you deserve every piece of truth they buried. Arya paused. And if I don't lead the last stand? Rhea smiled, thin and sad. Then I'll lead the last attack. The return shuttle was quiet. Arya sat alone, watching the black ships maneuver in precision strikes. The Black Fleet was tearing through Axterii formations faster than anything Earth had managed in weeks. Efficient, brutal, and very much human. Back on Station Rhea, her second-in-command met her at the hangar. "Report," Arya snapped as she stepped onto deck. "The Black Fleet held the line," Rami said. "Axterii forces are pulling back to high orbit. They weren't prepared for this. Neither were we." He hesitated. "What are they?" Arya didn't answer right away. She looked through the viewport. The Oblivion hovered at a distance, silent, immovable, terrifying. "Once," she said, "they were ours." She didn't mention that one of them was her mother. That could wait. "Contact all remaining Terran fleets," Arya said. "Tell them Earth has reinforcements. But make it clear, we don't command the Black Fleet. We survive alongside it. And if they turn on us?" Arya's voice dropped to steel. "Then we'll find a way to bury them too." Station Rhea's war room was louder than usual. A mix of shouting, static, overlapping frequencies. Stress hung in the air like sweat. Holograms flickered across the central table, fleet positions, orbital debris patterns, supply chains in tatters. And now, one more wildcard. The Black Fleet. Commander Arya Nix stepped into the chaos, uniform half-dusted with scorched carbon from the shuttle bay. Conversation stopped. All eyes turned to her. She said nothing. Just raised a hand. "Back to work." The chatter resumed, more focused. Her presence was grounding, even when nothing felt stable. She moved to the ops station where Lieutenant Rami stood, jaw locked, scanning a strategic readout. "Report," she said. "We've confirmed Black Fleet presence across 3 orbital layers. They're maintaining open assault vectors and avoiding civilian targets. But," he hesitated. "But? They're not sharing plans. They don't coordinate with our defense grid. They fight on their terms." "Expect it," she said. "Any direct engagements with Terran units?" "Not yet. But Commander, this situation's radioactive. Half our command wants to invite them into the network. The other half wants to nuke them before they decide where next." Arya nodded. "And what do you think?" Rami glanced at her, then the screen. "I think I'd rather face the Empire than guess what those ghosts are thinking." She understood. The Black Fleet's methods weren't just brutal, they were alien in rhythm, unpredictable in logic. Nothing like Terran doctrine. And the more they fought, the more the distinction between protector and threat blurred. "I need to address the Council," she said. The Defense Council's chamber was deeper inside the station, shielded and isolated. Its members were connected via hololink, some scattered across lunar bunkers, some still in orbit, others embedded in Terran remnants. When Arya's image appeared in the center of the projection sphere, the arguments were already mid-fire. "We don't know who commands them. They could be a splinter AI. They saved 6,000 lives yesterday. They burned through a civilian docking array to do it." Arya raised her voice. "Enough." They quieted. She stepped forward. "You want to know who they are? They're human. Exiled, augmented, written off, but still ours. And right now, they're killing more Axterii in an hour than we managed in 2 months." General Stavos, graying and severe, narrowed his eyes. "And at what cost? They don't answer to us. We have no command authority, no operational alignment. Would you prefer Virex orbital cleansing ships?" "No," he snapped. "I'd prefer predictability. They gave us breathing room. That's more than I expected from anyone, including this council." Minister Alwyn, calm but cautious, leaned in. "Do you know who leads them?" Arya hesitated. "Yes." "And?" She didn't blink. "It's classified." Stavos leaned back, scoffing. "How convenient." Arya stared him down. "They want to help. They haven't asked for anything in return. Yet." She didn't argue. She just ended the session. Later, in the privacy of her quarters, she sat alone, helmet off, fingers digging into her temples. The silence here was deceptive. The weight of everything pressed in. Above, beyond the hull, War shifted minute by minute. A soft chime broke her thoughts. Private channel. Oblivion. She accepted it. Ria's face appeared. Same as before, half-shadowed, armored eyes sharp. You're handling them well, she said. I'm buying time. That's more than most ever did. Arya leaned forward. We can't keep this going. You know that. If Earth sees one civilian caught in your crossfire, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. I'm not here to be liked. Then why are you here? Rhea hesitated, just for a breath. Because I owe the world a chance to survive. And because I still believe you can lead them somewhere better. Arya looked down. You're fighting monsters by becoming one. Then at least I chose the shape of mine. The line ended. By the next rotation, Axterii forces repositioned. They'd begun adapting to the Black Fleet's presence. Vyrek wasn't reckless, he adjusted. A recon drone caught a disturbing feed, Axterii harvesting debris fields and converting their cruiser undersides with reflective plating, designed to scramble Black Fleet targeting systems. They're evolving, Brahmi muttered. And fast, Arya agreed. That evening, a new report arrived. One of Earth's refugee ships, Verdant Ark, was found adrift, half-scorched, emergency transponder activated. Scans showed it had taken fire from both Axterii and unknown Terran-configured energy signatures. Arya stared at the report. Was it Black Fleet? Rami shook his head. Unconfirmed. Could be an Axterii mimic. Could be one of theirs went rogue. Could be deliberate. Neither said what they both thought. Arya stood. Prep a response. Get me a direct line to the Black Fleet. I want answers. And if I don't get them... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. They met again, not aboard Oblivion, but in neutral space. A mobile platform deployed between fleets. Both commanders arrived flanked by guards. Mather trusted the moment. Inside the chamber, Arya and Rhea faced each other across a steel table. Verdant Ark, Arya said. Wasn't us, Rhea replied. You expect me to take your word for it? No. Which is why I brought this. She slid a data prism across the table. Arya activated it. Footage, an Axterii stealth vessel, repainted with Terran hull patterns, attacking the Ark with an energy weapon modulated to mimic old Earth cruisers. They're framing us, Rhea said. Divide and conquer. Old playbook. Arya narrowed her eyes. They want to cut the alliance before it becomes real. There is no alliance, Rhea said flatly. Just a shared kill zone. They stood in silence. Finally, Arya spoke. You said we need teeth. I get it. But if we can't control them, they'll devour us too. Then train your people to bite back. With that, the meeting ended. That night, Arya sat in the observation chamber, watching the stars. The war had twisted her view of everything, truth, loyalty, even family. She didn't know what would come next. But one thing was certain. They were past diplomacy now. Survival wasn't about flags. It was about who fired first, who fired last, and who was left to tell the story. The sky above Earth cracked open. From Station Rhea's command deck, Arya watched as the Axterii carrier Kalvrek descended into low orbit, dragging a column of fire behind it like a god come to judge. It wasn't posturing. It was targeting the evacuation lanes directly, civilians, medical ships, unarmed transports. Carrier class confirmed, Rami said, voice tight. Trajectory intersects with Sector 17, Pacific Evac Corridor. Area's blood iced. Who's still there? Rami hesitated. Leon's transport. One of the last. Her throat clenched. Is he armed? No. Just med personnel and displaced civilians. Arya didn't wait. Redirect all anti-orbit artillery to Sector 17. Order Phalanx 3 to intercept. They'll be vaporized. They're spread too thin. Then die buying time. She turned to comms. Contact Oblivion. Tell Revenant if she wants this alliance to hold, she moves now. The reply from the Black Fleet wasn't verbal. It was visual. 12 ships, sleek, angular, blacker than space, broke off formation and accelerated like thunderbolts. No warning, no sync-up, no formation chatter. Their drives screamed ultraviolet. Even Rhea Station's sensors struggled to keep up. The lead ship pierced the upper deck of the culvreck like a rail spike. A flash of white exploded through the clouds, followed by a sonic cascade that split the atmosphere. 4 more Black Fleet vessels tore through the carrier's flanks, releasing autonomous drones that swarmed like wasps in a hive breach. On screen, the Axterii ship buckled, its hull folding in on itself, spilling violet flame and twisted alloy. But it was still falling. Still aiming for Earth. "Trajectory's holding," one of the techs shouted. "They're taking it down with them." Aria's voice dropped to a command-level growl. "Rhea Gauss array, target the reactor core. Full burn." The station's cannons rotated. A moment later, the beams lanced forward, piercing atmosphere. The carrier's spine ruptured mid-fall, atomized midair, raining debris over open ocean instead of cities. Cheering broke out on the deck. Arya didn't join in. "Status on transport Helena?" she asked. Rami checked. "Still flying. Hit by EMP wave. Minor injuries. No fatalities. Leon's alive." Relief hit her like a punch. But it didn't last. "Tell me the cost," she said. Rami's expression darkened. "Civilian freighter Teleray was in the path. Black Fleet's drones ignored its transponder. It's gone." "How many on board?" 400. Mostly children from Lagos sector." She closed her eyes. It wasn't war. It was arithmetic. Cold. Brutal. Collateral. Later, Arya entered the secured channel to oblivion. Rhea appeared, expression unreadable. "You could have warned me," Arya said. "The drones, your attack pattern, it wasn't surgical. We prevented a city from becoming a crater," Rhea said. "You also turned a civilian ship into shrapnel. Then grieve it. Mourn it. But don't pretend your artillery has never missed." Arya's hands tightened at her sides. "We're supposed to be better than them." "No," Rhea said. "We're supposed to survive them." For a beat Heather spoke. Then Arya leaned forward. "If this is the price for your help, innocence buried in your wake, then say it. Don't dress it in necessity." Rhea's eyes softened, but only slightly. "There's no clean way out of this. I've stopped chasing purity. I chase outcomes." Arya nodded. "Then we need new terms." An emergency council meeting followed. Some wanted immediate termination of the Black Fleet alliance. Others wanted full integration. Arya pushed for neither. "We don't control them," she told the room. "But we can predict them. We set operational boundaries. Red zones. No-go targets. And if they cross the line again, we cut them off." General Stavros leaned back. "And who enforces that?" "You." "I will." He scoffed. "With what? Half a fleet and duct-taped launch systems?" "With resolve," she said coldly. "The same kind that's kept Earth breathing." By morning, the Axterii adjusted. A second carrier launched refractive drones, mimicking Black Fleet stealth signals. Confusion spread across friendly fire channels. Earth's defense batteries locked onto the wrong targets. Friendly ships blinked out unarmed. It was working. Divide. Distract. Destroy. Arya assembled her officers. "We need to rewrite the recognition protocols. Fast." One of the techs spoke up. "It'll take hours." "We don't have hours." And then a solution came, from oblivion. The Black Fleet transmitted a targeting override, a protocol embedding an encrypted pulse into every ship's signature, undetectable to Axterii sensors. Earth systems could now verify friend from mimic instantly. It worked. Perfectly. The war's tempo changed again. By the end of the cycle, 2 more enemy carriers fell. Civilians were evacuated from the final Pacific corridor. Earth had space to breathe. But in that silence came the weight of the cost. 400 gone. burned by the ones who came to save them. Arya stood alone in the station's observation chamber that night, Earth glimmering below her. A planet still alive. Still beautiful. Behind her, Rami approached. "Leon's asking for you," he said. She nodded. "Soon." They stood in silence a while. "You did the right thing," Rami said. "I'm not sure what that is anymore. I think it's doing what hurts you most, but saves someone else." She looked at him. "You think that justifies anything?" "No," he said. "But it helps you sleep one more night." Arya turned back to the stars. So many of them were gone, blotted out by wreckage, smoke, ships that shouldn't exist. But some still shimmered. And as long as they did, so would she. The infiltration ship was barely bigger than a cargo container, sleek, coated in thermoreflective plating, running on silent burn. It slipped through the debris field like a ghost, cloaked from HFY sensors and even Earth's own satellites. Arya sat in the forward cradle, helmet sealed, neurofeeds synced to the hull's outer layer. She could feel every scrape of micrometeorite against the armor. Every shift in momentum. The mission was simple: board Virex command outpost, plant a worm in their fleet control system, destabilize their coordination grid. Simple, on paper. In practice, suicidal. Next to her sat Lieutenant Cora, the best slicer in Earth's crumbling navy. Young, quiet, eyes haunted. She was calm now, fingers looping through the digital threading tool like a pianist warming up. "You've done something like this before?" Arya asked over a private channel. Cora nodded. "Twice. Once during the Callisto mutiny. Once on a pirate relay station. Never with the fate of humanity hanging over my head, though." "You'll do fine," Arya said. "Just remember, once we're inside, we don't hesitate. And if it's a trap?" Arya's voice went colder. "Then we don't give them the satisfaction." The ship's trajectory locked onto Virex's flagship, the Throne of Blood. A floating citadel, its core brimming with command algorithms, biological link nodes, and HFY mind-spine synchronization networks. The approach corridor blinked red, locked. Then, a narrow window opened. A pulse. A brief electronic yawn in the carrier's firewall. Just as Oblivion had predicted. The Black Fleet had kept its word. Inside, the Throne of Blood was colder than Arya expected. No heat radiated from the walls. The lights were bioluminescent, grown, not built. A living ship. The air was dense, metallic. Artificial gravity felt slightly off-center, like the vessel didn't care about human equilibrium. Cora whispered, "I'm in the backbone. Dropping the worm now." Arya kept her rifle raised. The corridors were too quiet. No patrols. No drones. Then she heard it, soft crying. Human. She moved forward, pulse tight in her throat. The next chamber opened like a lung, breathing open around them. Cages. Dozens. Inside, Terran prisoners. Emaciated. Wired into the walls. Some unconscious. Some staring blankly, pupils dilated, lips moving without sound. "My God!" Cora breathed. Arya's boots echoed as she crossed to the nearest cell. A girl, no older than 16, flinched at the sight of her. Tubes ran from her spine to the wall behind her, neural siphons. "They're mapping our cognitive patterns," Arya muttered. "Copying personalities. Simulating resistance." Cora's voice shook. "They're turning us into code." Arya stepped back. Her orders were clear: plant the worm and leave. "But now, we disabled this section," she said. "Commander, we'll blow the timeline. They're using our people as tools." "I know." Cora looked at the prisoners, then the corridor behind them. "But if we fail, none of this will matter." Arya's fists clenched. She hated it. Hated being right. "Do it. Plant the worm. But record everything." Cora nodded, hands flying across her wrist pad. A minute later, the worm was embedded, buried in the ship's central command structure, quietly replicating itself across Virex's fleet architecture. Within hours, their coordination would fray. But it wasn't enough. Arya turned to the prisoners. We leave a beacon. Medical transport protocols. Earth will come for them. If they're still alive by then. They will be, Arya said. Because I said so? They exfiltrated clean, too clean. By the time they re-entered vacuum, Arya felt the trap close. An Axterii patrol cruiser decloaked less than 2 clicks away. No warning. No chase. Just a lock-on. A plasma burst clipped their wing. The small ship lurched. Smoke filled the cockpit. Hang on! Cora shouted. Arya grabbed the manual control. Reroute power to ventral thrusters. Another impact. Hull breach warning screamed. Then a shadow passed overhead. Oblivion. A pulse cannon flared. The Axterii cruiser split in two, spinning silently into the void. Arya's comm lit up. You're welcome, Rhea said. Arya coughed. You couldn't have come 30 seconds earlier? I like to see you sweat. Back on Station Rhea, the footage of the human captives caused immediate uproar. Earth's already crumbling patience with the Empire shattered completely. Arya stood before the Defense Council again, this time not asking for approval, just telling them what came next. They're not here to conquer, she said. They're here to unmake us. Rewrite our species into obedience. Stavos' voice was grim. Then we no longer have a choice. No, Arya agreed. We never did. The vote was unanimous. Full retaliation. With the Black Fleet at Earth's side. Arya returned to the observation deck that night. Alone. The worm was spreading. The throne of blood pulsed weaker by the hour. Vyrek knew it, even if he hadn't said so yet. Behind her, the doors hissed open. Rhea entered, silent. You saw the cages, Arya said. I did. And you still think they deserve mercy? No. But I think you needed to see it for yourself. Arya looked out at the stars. We go for the command ship. We take Vyrek out. We make it final. Rhea's voice dropped low. You sure you're ready to kill him? I'm ready to make sure he's the last. Across the stars, the Axterii began to scramble. And the sky, once darkened by fire, began to crack open. Not with light, but with reckoning. The war room was quiet. Not out of calm, but focus. Every screen pulsed red. Every station buzzed low with synchronized updates. Every person inside Station Rhea moved like blood through a single vein, flowing toward one purpose. The final strike. Confirmed? Arya asked, eyes locked on the central projection. Lieutenant Rami nodded. Vyrek remains aboard Throne of Blood. Worm's impact is visible, communications fragmented, fleet spread thin. His rear command vessels have begun fallback maneuvers. He's isolated. Exactly. She looked at the tactical feed, the Oblivion and its escort burning toward the command carrier from the dark side of the planet. Earth's remaining ships flanked wide. Arya's boarding vessel, Cerberus, would punch through the fractured shield grid and deliver her team inside the beast. No escape. No delay. Arya turned to her team, all suited, silent. Veterans. Survivors. Ready. This is it, she said. We don't bring back medals. We don't bring back heroes. We end this. They nodded. No speeches. They were well beyond speeches now. The stars blurred past as Cerberus streaked through orbit. They flew silent, no signals, no beacons, just sheer velocity and borrowed Black Fleet tech wrapped around the hull like a shadow. The Axterii carrier loomed ahead, scarred and flickering. Throne of Blood still looked invincible. A floating fortress. But the scene showed now. Armor blistered. Lights unstable. A dead engine venting raw plasma. Rhea's voice came over the comm. We'll hold the outer defense. If you don't breach within 6 minutes, we breach for you. I'll be in the throne room before then, Arya replied. You better. The hull strike was brutal. Cerberus's spearhead pierced the carrier's dorsal flank, drilled through 2 decks, and lodged hard against a bulkhead. Sparks sprayed across the interior. Arya led the breach team, weapon drawn, HUD linked to Korra's bioread. The Axterii ship reacted instantly. Organic plating closed behind them like a throat. Light turned green and red in pulses. Gravity lurched unnaturally. They pushed forward. Resistance came fast. Axterii warriors, tall, plated, four-limbed, rushed the halls in curved formation. Their weapons emitted a high-pitched hum before releasing waves of concussive energy. Arya ducked low, fired twice. One alien dropped, smoke rising from its split chest. Her team surged behind her, precision trained. Korra flanked right, slicing a junction node with a quick jab of her wrist tool. Security feeds looped. We've got 20 seconds. They moved like ghosts through breathing corridors. Deeper. Faster. Toward the throne. The throne chamber wasn't a command bridge. It was a temple. High vaulted ceilings formed from bone-colored supports. Vyrek stood on a raised platform, surrounded by concentric circles of data runes projected into the air. His armor shimmered, scaled and gilded, reflecting flames from damaged relays. He didn't look surprised to see them. "You've come," he said. Arya stepped forward, weapon raised. "You knew I would. You are predictable, Terran. You're alone." "No," Vyrek said, lifting one clawed hand. "I am eternal." And the walls moved. Biolinked warriors erupted from the structure itself, ripping free of recesses hidden in the organic walls. 8 of them. Fully armed. Synchronized. The fight was instant and violent. Arya ducked under a blade, drove her rifle into the gut of the first attacker, and pulled the trigger. Heat filled the chamber. Her squad moved tight, focused, brutal. Korra dropped to one knee, rerouting power to localized EMP bursts, disrupting Axterii armor with each pulse. The air crackled with the scent of ozone and blood. 2 minutes in, only Arya, Korra, and one other remained upright. And Vyrek hadn't moved. "Why hide behind your hounds?" Arya growled. Vyrek descended the platform. He didn't carry a weapon. He didn't need to. He moved fast, inhumanly so, and caught her by the neck before she could fire. Her body hit the floor hard. Vision blurred. "You cling to flesh?" he snarled, voice vibrating through her skull. "You fight extinction with sentiment." Arya reached to her belt. Triggered the emergency pulse. A short burst, strong enough to fry his linknet, not kill him. He recoiled, hand spasming. She rose and drove her knee into his chest, forcing him back a step. "Enough." She fired point blank. 3 shots. The first melted his shoulder. The second broke a knee. The third went through his chest. Vyrek collapsed, black ichor pooling beneath him. He hissed, no rage, no surprise. Just disappointment. "You are not conquerors," he whispered. "You are vermin with claws." "We're still here," Arya said. "That's all that matters." Vyrek died. And for the first time in months, there was silence. Outside, the Oblivion broadcast a single message. "Target neutralized. Command severed." Across the battlefield, the Axterii fleet began to falter. Ships drifted out of formation. Orders ceased. Power signatures dimmed. One by one, the invaders blinked out or self-immolated. Earth's sky was theirs again. Back aboard Station Rhea, medics worked fast. Arya refused the gurney. She walked to the ops deck with blood down her arm and grime in her hair. The officers stood when she entered. She waved them down. "We did it." Rami blinked. "Is he dead?" "His throne's dust." Someone clapped. Then another. Soon the deck thundered with applause. Arya didn't smile. Just nodded. Then left. She found Rhea in the observation chamber, eyes on the stars. "They'll come again," Rhea said without turning. "Maybe not the Axterii. But someone. Something. Then we'll be ready. They'll make you into a weapon now. Earth's savior. I'm no symbol." "No," Rhea said. "But you're alive. And that means they'll listen." Arya looked out over Earth. Fires still burned. Wreckage still drifted. But it was quiet now. I'm not here to rule, she said. I'm here to rebuild. Rhea nodded once. Then lead them into something better than we had. A pause. Will you stay? Arya asked. No. The Black Fleet isn't built for peace. Arya turned to her mother. Will I see you again? Rhea's smile was small. When the stars burn again. She left without another word. As dawn broke over Earth's ruins, survivors looked up and saw only stars. For the first time in generations, they were free. And watching from orbit, Commander Arya Nyx began to plan a future not of war, but of warning. Humanity would not kneel. Not now. Not ever. The reconstruction didn't start with speeches or monuments. It began with quiet. The kind that settled over the wreckage when the firing stopped. Station Rhea's hangars were crammed with supply drones and medical ships now, not warcraft. The smell of plasma and blood had faded. In its place came solder, synthetic fiber, human sweat, things meant for building, not destroying. Commander Arya Nyx stood alone on the upper observation deck. The earth turned slow below her, veiled in swirling clouds and faint aurorae. A planet bruised, but not broken. A soft tone echoed, private channel, encrypted. Go ahead, she said, not moving. Leon's voice came through, calm but tinged with awe. They're leaving. She finally turned to the viewport. Above the Pacific, the Black Fleet moved silently through the stratosphere, dozens of ships climbing together in a long, fluid arc. Their matte black hulls caught no light. They vanished, one by one, into the dark beyond orbit. Oblivion lingered a moment longer. Then it too was gone. No farewell. No banner. No promise. Just a shadow lifting. Hours later, Arya entered what remained of Earth's global assembly. Half the seats were empty. Those who survived still wore bandages or fatigue. The structure itself, formerly a diplomatic forum, was scorched but standing. She didn't take a podium. She stood in the middle of them, eyes steady. The Axterii are gone, she said simply. And the Black Fleet has withdrawn. What we do now, what comes next, won't be written in weapon fire. General Stavos sat near the front, his uniform pressed, his voice gruff. Some of us want to know where you stand, Commander. You command what remains of Earth's military. Do you intend to keep that power? Arya looked around. She saw exhausted leaders, bleeding economies, a planet stitched together by willpower and memory. I don't want a throne, she answered. I've seen what kind of people need one. Minister Alwyn leaned forward. Then what are you offering? A shield. Not just for Earth, but for every world that calls itself human. She activated a portable hollow. A new insignia rotated slowly, an open circle flanked by 3 stars, enclosed by a spiral arc. This is the Terran Pact, she continued. A coalition without concord, without empire. A defense alliance. Autonomous. Collaborative. No rulers. Just guardians. And who enforces it? Someone asked. No one, she said. Or everyone. The first worlds to join were broken ones. The Martian remnants. Lunar arcologies. Callisto's drifting cities. Even the Europa Reclamation Fleet sent a nod of approval. They all had different laws, different beliefs, different wounds, but all remembered what it felt like to be ignored when the sky fell. And they remembered who bled beside them. Arya didn't return to Station Rhea immediately. She spent days on Earth, walking rubble-lined streets, shaking hands with engineers who wore their exhaustion like second skin, visiting families who'd buried 3 generations and still baked bread for neighbors. She found Leon near a field hospital, rebuilding water purification systems with a group of stubborn kids. His arm was still in a sling. His smile, still the same. You finally off the leash? He asked. She hugged him tightly, letting the silence speak. He pulled back. So what now, sis? You gonna vanish like she did? Arya shook her head. No. I'm staying. Not to fight. To make sure no one else has to. Sounds boring, he said, smirking. She smiled. Good. I'm tired of excitement. That night, she sat alone in an old concrete tower that once housed long-range comms. The glass was broken. The floor covered in dust. But the stars were clear. She keyed in a transmission, low frequency, no destination. Just open space. Black Fleet. This is Commander Arya Nix. Earth stands. The Terran Pact is forming. You're not forgotten. She waited. No response. But that wasn't why she sent it. Months passed. Cities rose from ashes. New stations were planned. Treaties signed. And everywhere, the same graffiti began to appear, tagged in alleyways and burned ship hulls. We kneel to no one. It wasn't a slogan. It was a memory. A vow. On the edge of known space, where Terran sensors faded and deep silence ruled, a fleet hung between stars. Not dead. Not idle. Watching. Aboard Oblivion, Rhea stood before a new map, fresh targets, fresh warnings. Not of war. Of emergence. Alien species rising with intent. Some curious. Some not. She tapped a command panel. The fleet stirred. They would not interfere. Not yet. But if Earth ever called again, the Black Fleet would answer. Back on Earth, as dust rolled across the Capo ruins, Arya stood before a crowd gathered at a monument site, a memorial to the fallen of the Axterii War. The statue was simple, a broken spear planted upright in ash-covered stone. At its base, a plaque etched with one sentence. We were not born to bend. Arya stepped forward, speaking not as a soldier, but as someone who remembered. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy. Not the oldest. Not the wisest. But we are still here. And for all those who tried to erase us, know this. She looked to the sky. Humanity will always rise.